Shubhamedi said Banga Ganga. Hello, everyone. Welcome or welcome back to Dirty Martini. I hope you're doing well and I hope you're having an amazing day. Guys, I'm very excited for today's episode because I am absolutely exhausted. And this, honestly, it has not happened in such a long time that I record during the week instead of on Saturday and record on Saturday. I literally just said record and edit on Saturday and then make everything for the posting of on Sunday. So I'm very excited. I feel like I have the whole week in front of me, even though it's what is it today? Thursday? No, Wednesday. Time is a blur. And so is my mind. But I am excited for today's episode because as per usual, I had a whole ass plan made for everything I want to go through, and the thing is, I really wanted this to be one of those deep, explorative, emotional episodes. And then I ended up working for 2.5 hours nonstop on my assignment after working the entire day. So now all I want to do is just bankaganga. Like I just like I don't have it in me to go deeper into my existential crises that I'm experiencing right now. So I just thought let's just press record and see where this goes. But we basically okay, the on the agenda is to talk nonsense, but to talk nonsense until my potatoes are ready. Because I bought some potatoes that were about to expire because I hate wasting food and they were discounted, and I was like, I will eat those. So I bought them, I put them in the oven, and now let's say we have 40 to 45 minutes, but like you never know with potatoes. That's the thing. Like cooking, I just hit my thingy. I am so sorry if you heard it. Cooking potatoes is such a scam, especially baking potatoes, because like you would think that if you slice them thinner, they'll cook faster and they'll get crispier. No, no, like it just doesn't work. Like potatoes, they don't necessarily follow the law of logic. So I'll just go check on them in 45 minutes. And if all is good, I'll say bye to you and I'll go eat my potatoes and my tagatog. And you may be wondering, what is tagatog? Well, tagatog, oh my gosh, today is really going to be one of those. Tagatog is Bulgarian cold soup that you eat in the summer. Now, is it summer yet? The calendar says almost, but the weather outside says no, because the weather has been so incredibly shit, and it is supposed to be coming better. Uh, it's supposed to become better. English, I'm sorry. It's supposed to become better over the weekend, which is when I'll be working from morning until evening. So that's exciting because that means not only will I not get the chance to enjoy the nice weather and a weather that is above 12 degrees and a weather that does not encompass rain and hail and wind that is going to blow you away like the Witch of the West house. That's not the story. That is so not the story. I apologize to the theater community for misappropriating this cultural phenomenon. Anyways, so I will not only will I not be able to enjoy that weather that I've been praying for, that I've been begging for, that I've been longing for, but I will also work during that, which makes it worse. And the reason it makes it worse is because I work in the Hogeka, which means that people who will be going out to enjoy the nice weather will stop by me to get their food, and that means it's going to be extra busy. And there's another holiday coming this week on Sunday when you guys are seeing this. So Pentecost, I don't even know what Pentecost is. All I know and all I care about is that I get paid 150%. And actually, this Sunday is one of the big national holidays in Bulgaria, which commemorates the Saint brothers of Kirill and Methodi, so Cyrillus and Methodius, who are the people who in 855 invented the Glagolica, which was the prototype on which the Cyrillic alphabet was built. So čestit praznik chora na dober čas, and to all the prom graduates, no, high school graduates. May the odds be ever in your favor, divas. Cause like, and try to enjoy your prom without caring how you look. Like, proms in Bulgaria are put on such a pedestal, and it's like people go in debt. Like, that's a mini wedding type of shit. And now, having been through my prom, mine was not necessarily too over the top, but it was still a big celebration, and my dress was expensive, and like hair was expensive, makeup was expensive. And if I could go now there, I would not do it the way I did it in terms of the way I looked, because I didn't necessarily love the way I looked, because I don't think I looked ugly. I just didn't feel pretty, because that was purely based on insecurity, because that was one of the lowest lows I had ever experienced and have ever experienced in my life to date. But my prom actually ended up being one of the most fun experiences ever, and I really really enjoyed this, and I danced and I sang and I just had so much fun with my friends, and I met some new people who are now so integral to my day-to-day life. And I feel like it was such a beautiful way to close a chapter and open a new one, because it was also a signaling of me, you know, ending my entire life, like conscious life up to that point, being in Bulgaria and stepping into the new, aka moving here. I literally started talking about Tagatog. Yeah, so basically, the way I'm speaking about my prom right now, well, the one that happened in 2021, aka 5 years ago, which is just absolutely outrageous, is the way I hope to speak of this period of my life now. I said I don't want to go into the existential crisis of it all, and I don't really want to, because like I already cried multiple times. And yesterday I had my last lecture, and by the time you see this, I'll have had my last class ever in my life. I mean, like, who knows, maybe later down the path I want to do another master's or another PhD, or not another, or do a PhD or another bachelor's and want to continue my studies. But for the foreseeable future, this is the closure of the biggest stage of my life, aka studenthood, which has encompassed 17 years of my life, aka everything I remember and everything I know. And the closure of this chapter is something I really am terrified of. So, actually, now speaking so highly of my experience at prom, um, in a way eases the pain, because I remember how terrified I was back then. And I remember how I thought everything is going to change, and everything did change. Some things for the better, some things for the different. I don't want to say worse, because overall I think I'm pretty privileged and blessed in life. Um, but things definitely changed. And if things hadn't changed, I wouldn't have been here. I wouldn't be the person I am right now. I wouldn't be talking to you. And this is honestly my favorite stage of my life yet, despite a few things. Um, so maybe graduating won't be as scary as I think it's going to be, but that's for future me to uncover with you, because I don't have it in me to think about the fact that tomorrow is my last ever class. Because yesterday, as I was walking to university, I was, like just chilling and like listening to music, and I was like, shit, this is my last ever lecture. And I'll never sit in an auditorium with people in that way again and just take notes and whatever. Um, and I cried. I really, I feel some sort of future nostalgia, but like that's for me from a future episode to deal with, because what I wanted to talk about is Tagatog. Tagatog is this cool. It's crazy that all of this started because of Tagatog. Yeah, again, if someone can build a mind map of the way the episodes go without using AI, because come on, we know each other, we know I don't support the use of AI, I'm going to be quite grateful. And I'm going to be quite interested to explore the way my mind creates patterns and creates pathways, because sometimes I don't really get it. So tagatog. Tagatog is this cold soup that is made, and I know it sounds very questionable. I know this. Um, but it is so good. It's basically made out of, what is going on? Why is it that every single time I press record, someone outside decides to throw a random festival? They decide to bring an excavator, is that the word? And just like, like uproot the road. Why is that? I don't know. So, tagatog. Tagatog is made out of cubed cucumbers, but cubed very tiny, tiny, very tiny, like this big, this big. Some freaks love eating tagatog with shredded cucumber. We do not claim that, because you and I, we're just not psychopaths. Because, like, why the hell would you shred your cucumber for tagatog and then drink it? Tagatog is not meant to be sipped. That's not whiskey. Tagatog is meant to be eaten. It's meant to be savored. And it's basically the dish during Bulgarian summer alongside Shopska sawata and Ovchagska sawata. And it's so cubed cucumbers with a shitload of garlic. And I mean, like, now for 3 portions, which I'm going to eat all by myself because, like, tagatog is just that good. I put 5 cloves of garlic because I also love garlic. Basically, now when you open the fridge, because it's in there chilling, because it's a cold soup. When you open the fridge, and this is my formal apology to my housemates. Actually, you don't even need to open the fridge. Just this smell of garlic, it just hits you in the face, and you're like, oh, I'm awake. And yes, you need to cut so much garlic that even when you wash your hands 7 times and you scrape the nails and everything, it still smells of garlic. That's how you know you've put an enough of an amount, and then you put another clove on top. Guys, I just really love garlic, and I think I love garlic more than the average person, because I made like a yogurt garlic sauce for fried zucchini for my friend, and she she cried because it was so spicy. She was like, girl, what are you doing? Are you trying to kill me? But, like, god forbid a girl loves flavor. God forbid a girl who's not a vampire. So anyways, so cubed cucumbers, like, tinily, what is the thing called? Like, chopped garlic. Then you're supposed to add kopag. What is kopag? I don't mean like the metal kopag, like not copper, like the metal. I mean like kopag, like the Bulgarian word for that. It's not dill. What is it called? What is kopag called? And I know that there's like Bulgarians listening to me right now, and they're screaming the name of it. Kopag na angliski. It's not dill. Oh, it is dill. It is dill. The thing is, I always skip the dill because I'm not a psychopath again. Well, I mean, like, it does add a little bit of thing, but not a thing I necessarily enjoy. Then, some people add chopped walnuts. Well, not chopped, like, they're basically made into, like, sand. And then you mix it with the most beautiful, the most hearty Bulgarian yogurt. If you have not tried Bulgarian yogurt, you have not lived. It's, well, it's not called yogurt, it's called sour milk, is what the literal translation is, and it is endemic to Bulgaria. I know that Japan really likes our yogurt and they're trying to cultivate the bacteria so they can make it. Um, Bulgarian yogurt, like if you've tried Greek yogurt, imagine that, and then nothing in common. Just it's so different. And Bulgarian yogurt, in my experience, does not make you bloat. That could be because I grew up on Bulgarian yogurt and Bulgarian dairy in general. So my, organism or body, I could have also said, um, is used to Bulgarian dairy. So it's not really triggered by it. But when I came here and I started eating Greek yogurt from Lidl, I was like, what are you guys putting me through? Because I was bloating as if I was 9 months pregnant. And I don't think I'm lactose intolerant. Now I don't have any problems now. But at first I was like, Jesus Christ, this is what you're calling yogurt? Because even Greek yogurt doesn't taste like this. So yeah, I really like I'm if you know me in real life, you know I'm extremely passionate about Bulgarian dairy. And I never let it go. And I think every other dairy is inferior compared to our dairy. Um, to the point that I thought about buying the bacteria to bring here so that I can make my own yogurt, my own sour milk. Which is not necessarily that difficult. My mom used to make it when I was little. Um, and I'm actually on a spree of making my own stuff. Yesterday, I started a sourdough starter. We'll see how that one goes. I also, because I use a lot of spring onion, I just, when I cut up my spring onion, I leave the white part and I put it now in like a dish with water. And now I'm basically growing spring onion. And can you guys tell I'm going through a lot right now? Like, I really just want to create stuff. I want to just do some manual labor so that I can put off the emotional battle that I am going to fight for the next few months, if not a year. But that's okay. That's okay because at least something nice is coming out of it. We'll see. I'll keep you updated on my sourdough journey because I honestly feel like people were actually over exaggerating how difficult it is. These are famous last words. I know this is just day 2. I just fed it, and yes, actually, maybe I made a rookie mistake. I did not discard any of my starter from yesterday because I basically read that the reason you discard is so that you have enough space in your jar, but my jar is big, so I don't need uh extra space, so I just fed it. It should be fine. It should be fine. I just refuse to accept that it's that difficult. If people can do it, if men have done it, I can do it. I can do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This is the mentality with which I approach sourdough, and this is the mentality with which I want to approach life, period. Because it's just sourdough. I feel like it cannot be that difficult. And I want future me to cut this part of the episode and basically compile it with the results of my sourdough. Anyways, tagatog. So we have up until now, well, this is honestly what an amazing cooking show. Like, exactly to the point. I feel like I am basically giving those recipes online that are like, oh, you just want to do garlic bread, aka you just need bread, butter, garlic, and herbs, and you just do it all together. No, you don't need to get to the point straight away. You need to tell me the story of your dad's dad and his uncle's dog, and how everything was interconnected, and how you had a farm when you were growing up, but then you had to move places because you stubbed your toe, and you go on and on and on for pages, and you press the jump to recipe button and it doesn't work. This is what I'm giving right now with the recipe for tagatog, and I think that's beautiful. This is what you signed up for, okay? By pressing click. So, not pressing click, pressing play. Jesus Christ. Sometimes I really crack myself up. Like, no one is as funny to me as I am. And I think that's beautiful. So, tagatog. I'm so sorry. Tagatog. We have cubed cucumbers, garlic, um, dill, walnuts. Skip the walnuts. I also personally don't like walnuts, so skip the walnuts. Yogurt, sour milk, and then you dilute it with water and you mix, 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 mix. Then you add salt and then you add oil. And the thing is, you need to add sunflower seed oil because no Bulgarian knew of the existence of olive oil up until 10 years ago. And this is a recipe that's way older than 10 years ago. Like, you really, I feel like a lot of people don't really get that in the Balkans we didn't necessarily have, I mean, communism. But like that was what was real. English language. That was what really was pissing me off about this Balkan breakfast trend on TikTok or on social media in general, where people were like, yeah, and then you just slice avocado. I'm like, and they're like, oh, this is an authentic recipe from the 1960s. And like they were eating avocados. Girl, they didn't even have bananas. My grandma did not know of avocados' existence until 2 years ago. Do you really think that my communist grandma that was working multiple jobs a day, multiple shifts a day, was eating avocados? Those people were eating big legs and big ears because they had to, like like a lot of people just don't get it. Like, but that's not to say that the Balkans are regressive. That is not to say that the Balkans are regressive. We now have access to basically everything ish. So, but yeah, like my grandma didn't grow up eating bananas. She didn't grow up eating avocados. Back during communism, everything was rationed. And if you had a person who knew a person who knew a person, you could get another ticket to get another banana. And bananas were available only during Christmas. And it was not Christmas. Back then, they were celebrating New Year's because Christmas is a religious holiday and religion was forbidden under communism because the only faith you were supposed to have is in the party, not in a god, not in a higher being, in todo Živkov, in BKP. Okay? Okay. So, guys, as a Balkan person, as a Bulgarian person, I have experienced quite an interesting week. So, if you live under a rock, and I hate saying this because, like, to me, this assumes common knowledge, and I've been outspoken about how I don't believe in the existence of such a thing as common knowledge. But if you live under a rock, you may not know that Bulgaria won Eurovision. Let me preface this by saying I boycotted Eurovision. The only reason I tuned into Eurovision's finales last 30 minutes to an hour was to make sure that Israel doesn't win. Um, this is not targeted towards Daga. I love Daga. I absolutely love Daga. I have loved her before it became modern now to love her after she won. So this is not me trying to comment on Eurovision as a contest, Eurovision as politics, or Daga's talent, because the hate Daga has been receiving, I really don't want to get into, but like to me, this performative religiousness, this performative faith of people being like, oh, she's a Satanist, and like, did you see the six on her arm and the six on her forehead? And like, why is she using kukegi, which are a pagan thing from our past? We're no longer pagan, blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Literally, shut up. Look at me now. That's me, shut up. Practice it. Practice it. Practice it. Practice makes perfect. And I feel like you should shut up. Because like y'all really love using religion, exploiting religion to put others down. This is not what religion was made for. This is not why religion was invented. Religion is not meant to be a crucifying aspect, no pun intended. Religion is not meant to be used to sow hatred, to put others down. It is meant to spread love and enlightenment and not be like, you don't need to look for something to make yourself the victim in every single thing. Sometimes you can just let people have fun, you know? And like, if I want to shake ass to banga ganga, I'm going to shake ass to banga ganga. And this does not need to have anything with my religious beliefs or with the church. And it doesn't need to be blasphemous. It doesn't need to be aligned with the devil. So, to every single person who fucking exploits religion to put others down, to belittle them, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Because you are twisting the meaning of religion through your practices. And your practices of religion are not the ones they speak about in the Bible. And it's so easy to cherry pick little verses from the Bible and decontextualize them so that they can benefit your argument, which is so incredibly baseless. But then in your day to day life, to, I don't know, still watch porn, do like lie, cheat, like play poker or bet on stuff like these. You cannot, like, the double standard is kind of crazy. So if you want to doctrine others and impose on them your religious beliefs, you need to stick to those beliefs. Because if you have such problems with the non-Christian values of someone who doesn't even speak about church, I don't think that's really Christian of you. I really don't think that's, I don't think that's the way Jesus intended it, you know? And religion shouldn't be used as a weapon, okay? Religion is a tool to help you lead your life in a way that makes your life purposeful, because we're all so devoid of purpose otherwise, because we need something to believe in, someone to believe in, something to lead us, because otherwise we'll just go into from one existential crisis to another. So stick to your values, believe in them, live by them, don't impose them on anyone, and don't dare say that someone or something is blasphemous and aligned with Satan, and look for sixes where there are none, just because you're homophobic. Okay? Okay. So, what is it? Oh yeah, it's been a crazy week to be a Bulgarian, because despite my boycotting of Eurovision, I have to admit that this is a very wide exposure. Like you're stepping on an international, if not global, stage. There's a lot of eyes on you, so you're getting a lot of exposure, you're getting a lot of attention. And sure, a lot of the songs from Eurovision we don't even remember. But what this means, what Daga winning Eurovision means to me personally, is way larger than Banga Ganga beating like the rest of the songs. Basically, so guys, there's this character in Bulgarian literature. That character was developed in the 1900s, and no, 1800s, excuse me. 18 or 1900s, around there, by Aleko Constantinou. And that character's name is Bai Ganyo. Bai Ganyo, now he is a very complex character, and I will not have the time to dive deeper into what Bai Ganyo means. I'll just try to quickly portray him, which will not do the stories justice. Um, but basically, Daga's win of Eurovision really reminded me of my bachelor's thesis, because my bachelor's thesis I dedicated to Bai Ganyo. Bai Ganyo is this um, character who basically embodies everything bad or everything regressive and anti-modern about Bulgarians. Baiganyu is a character who carries a lot of, like, he's lowly educated. He's basically this trader. He and the story for the first stories, because we have Baiganyu goes to Europe, which is what my thesis was dedicated on, and my thesis was specifically dedicated to the movie by Ivan Nechev, I believe is who the director was, and Georgi Koyanchev. Um, but they're basically, we have Baiganyu goes to Europe and Baiganyu back in Bulgaria. I'll talk about the Baiganyu in Europe character. He's basically this rose oil trader. If you don't know this, Bulgaria is one of the biggest rose oil manufacturers and exporters. Because, like, next to Kazanluk, which is a city in central Bulgaria, we have these big rose fields, and we just make a lot of products from them. So he would he, I mean by Ganyo, would go by train to Europe. And the thing is, Bulgaria is not perceived as Europe. This is freshly freed from Ottoman Empire Bulgaria. So there's a lot of debate, like internal struggles about where are we positioned, because we're back on the map after 500 years of not existing, after 500 years of occupation and being orientalized. And then now we are free and we're European, but are we European? Because our culture is not, and our practices and our ways of life are not necessarily modern and up to par with what European means. Because Europe, in those books and those stories in the movie, um, is portrayed as the epitome of, basically, imagine like a holy land. It's everything modern, it's everything progressive, it is what you should be. Whereas Bulgaria, and Baiganyu in particular, embody this regressiveness, this struggle for self identification, this struggle to fit in with this modern way of life, this cultured, educated way of life, because you've never had access to it. And now that you're somewhat supposed to integrate, you don't really fit in. And Baiganyu basically goes by train to Europe. He goes to Austria and Hungary and the I mean, like, obviously they were in like Czech Republic back then, but you know what I mean. Like in that region of, basically he goes to Central Europe, and the stories explore the discrepancy, the juxtaposition between modernism and Bulgaria, between culture and Bulgaria, between education and Bulgaria, between progress and Bulgaria. Because Bulgaria is perceived to be on the opposite end of the spectrum from what those things are. And ganyo basically nowadays is used to name people or Bulgarians collectively as a sort of mentality that is regressive, that is always dissatisfied, that is extremely opportunistic and egoistic, and that just simply does not fit within the European values and standards of life. And the thing is, Baigano was built as a figure of self-embodiment, so self identity construction, but also others' perception. So he's a very complex character. I am sure his stories have been translated in different languages. Do look them up. I feel like this is going to provide a lot of context to the way the Balkans are seen, but also the way the Balkans see themselves. Because Baiganyu is a stereotype. Baiganyu is a way Bulgarians perceive themselves, but also Bulgarians perceive others to see them. And Baiganyu, as much as I would like to believe I don't embody him, is someone who every now and then pops up in my self perception. Because basically, when I moved here, I felt very out of the loop. Um, I had never paid with my phone. I had never lived in a cashless society. I had never used self checkout. I had never like ordered using a tablet when you go into a restaurant or whatever. I had never done those stuff. And there are reasons why certain developments take longer to integrate in Bulgaria's society. A lot of those are financial reasons. And the reason Bulgaria is lacking finances is because of deep historical and economical roots and history that I really don't have the opportunity to go into right now because my potatoes are about to be done in 10 minutes. But basically, I really strived not to be a Baiganyu when I came here, but I also struggled not to perceive myself as one because people had traveled, people spoke multiple languages, and sure, like when I arrived here, I freshly graduated, did still speak German, and I spoke English and I spoke Bulgarian, but against the people who speak 5 languages, that felt like nothing. People who had done internships and exchanges and had a lot of experience under their belt, and I didn't have anything. Um, I felt like I was really not fitting with what the culture here embodies because Western Europe is quite different culturally from Eastern Europe, and that is because a lot of it is attributed to imperialism, to communism, and lack of finances. And I just really struggled to not perceive myself as the other. And to this day, I still struggle. And that is why I think Daga's win means so much more than simply winning a contest. Because this is putting us on the map. Because now you have heard of Bulgaria. Because, yes, when I came here, I had people who had never heard, I met people who had never heard of Bulgaria. I had people who would pronounce Bulgaria as Bulgaria, and I felt too ashamed to correct them, which is my own fault because like now maybe they go around telling people Bulgaria and they embarrass themselves. I had people who couldn't like Europeans specifically who couldn't point us on the map, who and I've said this before, I've had people tell me that for them everything Eastern than Germany does not exist because Eastern Europe is severely underrepresented and underappreciated. And this has led to a lot of self stereotyping, but also stereotyping by others. And if your exposure to Eastern Europeans is solely through cinema, you're going to perceive us exactly as this, as uneducated, strong accents, like you would expect me to speak like this, like Ilya Rozanov, but I don't speak like this. And how dare I, as an Eastern European, not have the necessary Balkan Bulgarian accent? Um, and you would perceive us as the villain because of association with the USSR and because of the prominence of the Hollywood cinema and in general US cinema and the Cold War. Russia, well, USSR and its allies were portrayed as the villains. So you're going to have a very specific image of Bulgaria and Eastern Europe if you had even thought about Eastern Europe and Bulgaria and the Balkans. And now this is a step closer to Europeanness. And by Europeanness, I mean modernity, integration, belonging. And I'm not saying culture here because you know how I previously said undereducated and uncultured and regressive. The Balkans, Eastern Europe have so much history, have so much culture. And to discard those at for the sake of embracing Western European culture would be self-eradication. I'm not saying one is better than the other. My potatoes are ready. I'm just saying that they should coexist and it shouldn't be a hierarchy. And I feel like I'll always struggle to not perceive myself as the other. And it's crazy to me that I have lived in a pre-EU Bulgaria, in an EU Bulgaria, pre-Schengen Bulgaria, Schengen Bulgaria, pre-Eurozone Bulgaria, and now Eurozone Bulgaria. And it is crazy. Now, this past week, people have been texting me to congratulate me as if I won Eurovision. This is the first time Bulgaria has won Eurovision. I don't know if I mentioned this. And it's a very meaningful moment because it puts us on the table. Even like, because before that, what we have been dealt with in terms of courts has been discrimination and looking down upon us. Because the Balkans are not really thought of until you want cheap labor and until you want a cheap vacation. And you come like, well, now we also have the euro, but like back then with the left, you would come with the euro to the left and just like live like a king. But people there cannot afford to pay for their rent or groceries. So to me, Daga's win is exactly us taking a seat at the table and saying, we are here to stay and you can no longer not pay attention to us. And I am so incredibly proud of my Bulgarianness. I'm so incredibly proud of my Balkanness, of my Eastern Europeanness. And I wouldn't trade them for the world. I wouldn't. Now, having experienced life in Western Europe and two different countries, I'm really proud of my culture and I wouldn't trade my background for anything. I think there's a lot of value that the Balkans, that Eastern Europe has to offer. And it's high time people looked more to the east than Germany. And I'm extremely proud to be Bulgarian, not only because Daga won or because I don't know. I didn't used to be proud to be Bulgarian when I lived in Bulgaria. The second I moved here, I saw how much my country, my culture, and my upbringing have given me. And those are things that life here, had I grown up here, never would have offered me. Um, a lot of them because of, like, generational trauma, economic trauma, political trauma. Um, I would never, like, I think I will always struggle to perceive myself as belonging, as something else than the other. But I feel like now we're one step closer to integration. And it feels nice to be recognized, to be validated, to hear your country's name for something positive instead of just speaking about corruption and, um, negative population growth. It is nice to be praised for once. I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know if people are going to remember us. Um, but I don't think I'll ever forget this moment where, even for, oh fuck, why am I beginning to cry? Like, oh, I feel so patriotic today. That's all because of the Tagatog. Um, even if people forget about Bangaganga, even if people forget about me, like the people here forget about me, and I don't think I'll ever forget how those past few days have felt, because I finally felt European. And, like, again, European I use metaphorically. Um and I'm not saying that, like, European, like, should be something elitist and, like, something to strive for, but it's so complex. Like, if you're from the Balkans, I know you get it. I really know you get it. If you're Eastern European, I know you get it. And, like, if you've never had if you've never if you've never been considered non-European, if you've never been unwelcome, um I don't think you would be able to understand, no matter how much I express it, because we're talking about very deep history here. And it just feels nice for once to be invited at the table, and for you to be listened to while you speak, and for Bulgaria to be pronounced Bulgaria, and for eyes to be pointed at Eastern Europe positively, because Eastern Europe has so much to offer in terms of people, in terms of culture, in terms of history, food, music, clothing, just experiences, nature. Eastern Europe has so much to offer, and I really wish it was more appreciated. And yeah, but Daga really did something, and that's why I will not tolerate any Daga slander. Every bad word towards her will be fought with a lot of passion from me, especially hatred by people who have never left the country. Because the thing is, you can perceive yourself as non-European, but, like, you're in your own culture and you still belong there. But it's one thing for me to perceive myself non-European in what we perceive as Europe. Um, it's weird. Stereotypes are weird, and I just feel this immense sense of pride and an ounce more of belonging. And if this is what Eurovision brings me personally, apart from the satisfaction that Bulgaria defeated Israel, then so be it. Thank you, Dagon. Thank you for giving me this feeling of not being someone to discard and being worthy to be listened to. But with that being said, my potatoes are ready. I need to go eat them with my tagatog. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope you found this interesting. Banga ganga and peace out. Stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Wait, did I say thank you for watching this episode and I hope to see you in the next one? If I did, okay. If I didn't, I'm saying it right now. Stay hydrated, wear sunscreen, and don't support genocide. Banga ganga!